Right now, the South is bracing for more winter weather as a new system tracks through the Gulf. We've been monitoring this for a few days. And folks in Memphis, Tennessee, already seeing blankets of snow on their roadways. The Triad could see similar icy roadways in just a few hours.
We recognize the potential for danger our area could see coming up. We'll break down when we can expect the change in the forecast and how it will affect our families, plus what to do to prevent any problems on the roads and with your cars. The Good Morning Show at 6 starts now. Welcome back to the Good Morning Show. It is 6 o'clock on this Wednesday, February 19th.
The whole state of North Carolina is currently under a state of emergency due to the widespread weather we're getting today. Here in the Triad, we could see anywhere from 1 to 3 inches of snow.
Yeah, prompting some dangerous road conditions as the temperatures drop into the teens. That's why we have declared a WFMY News 2 Weather Impact Alert Day.
We have crews live out in the field getting a closer look at the last-minute prep for the Department of Transportation.
First, let's get the latest snow forecast from our weather team, tracking the system for days now, and it's finally almost here.
That's right. We're keeping an eye on the radar, and I'll show it to you in just a minute as light snow is working into western North Carolina. Not reaching the ground yet, but it soon will. And we're looking about 8 a.m. until about 11 a.m. for it to move into the Triad. Temperatures this morning already down to 29 at Danville, 31 at PTI. And when it starts snowing, temperatures will likely drop a little bit more. So I think pretty much all day and through tonight, we're going to hover into the 20s to right around 30. Here's the snow moving in from the west. Not a real favored way for us to get a big snow, and we don't expect this to be a big snow, but right now 1 to 2 inches of snow, maybe less if our models continue to trend drier like they are now. Also, another important thing is heavy rain along the Gulf. This tends to block an inflow of deep layer moisture into the system, and that can limit snow amounts as well. In our part of the Piedmont, you can see it breaking out, but again, it is drying up before it reaches the ground. Once we saturate the atmosphere, it'll start to fall to the ground. And the important thing with the cold temperatures, when it starts to snow, the roads are going to get slick pretty quickly. So no problems with the commute this morning, but that may be a different story as you head home later today. Off and on snow, likely a little mix to the south, but not enough for power outages the way we see it now, but we'll keep an eye on it. Off and on snow tonight with lows into the low and mid 20s.
All right, thanks, Ed. 6:02 right now. Snow-covered roads, not an issue early this morning for the morning commute. Of course, for the afternoon into the evening, that likely will be a bit of a different story. Around the Piedmont right now, taking a look at all the major roadways around Greensboro, 40, 85, 29, Wendover, all in good shape right now. Over to Winston-Salem, 40 and 421, no issues there. 52 is clear. Lexington, High Point, down to Asheboro, all in good shape. Smooth sailing on Triad roads this morning. Let's try to keep it that way. All right, Greensboro to Winston-Salem right now, about 22 minutes on 40, 23 minutes heading north on 421. You're leaving High Point coming to Greensboro, just about a 10-minute ride on Business 85, less than 15 minutes right now from High Point to Winston-Salem. That's a quick look at Triad traffic.
Well, class time will look a little different for students in our area. All major school districts are either going remote or closing completely for the day. Guilford County Schools and Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools are among those learning remotely. We do have a full list running at the bottom of your screen, as well as on our website, WFMYnews2.com. State leaders also have a plan for today's impacts. They've activated 180 National Guard members. Some are stationed in Greensboro and Surry County. More than 1,500 DOT workers treated roads. Nearly 600 trucks and 130,000 tons of salt are ready to go. The local DOT office has more than 150 trucks at the ready.
We have talked with the local transportation office to see what last-minute preparations crews are doing this morning to assist drivers who have to go to work like we did today. Let's join Giselle Thomas with the game plan. Giselle?
Yes, I'm here off I-40 West and I-85 off that south stretch, and you can actually see some of the brine that's on the roads being ready and prepared. You can actually see a car driving has some sparks flying from it as it's making contact with the road here. Now, in about an hour, DOT says that they are going to start up their 24/7 operations, meaning that they will be ready to go all throughout the county, spread all throughout Guilford, Winston-Salem, even going up to that Virginia border. Now, I was actually able to speak to a member of Division 7. His name is Derek Dixon. That covers from Guilford County to Orange. He says that the plan this morning is to lay out trucks throughout various areas so crews can get ready for snowfall.
We'll have trucks stationed on specific routes ready to go, and then once it starts sticking, that's when we'll begin our salt operations. We have probably around 100 to 150 trucks across the whole division, so we are very well prepared for anything that comes.
Now, Dixon says the brine currently on the road should kick in once the snow starts to stick. Now, he says that snow falling is actually better than freezing rain, so crews can be able to remove it easily or salt it over. Now, over in Division 9, which covers Winston-Salem up to Rowan County, there are a lot of hills. DOT officials there say that the state roads they targeted first, and then they went over to the major highways to try and get a head start with that brine.
Any elevated roadway is sort of catches people by surprise. Our program is to pre-treat and actively treat during the storm what we consider our bare pavement routes, interstate, US and NC routes. Those will be our focus for the duration of the event.
Now, again, DOT officials are saying if you don't need to travel on the roads once the storm starts, it's best to stay off. It's mainly being used just for emergencies and also emergency personnel in case anything happens during the time of this snowfall. Make sure you're staying safe out there. Live in Greensboro, Giselle Thomas, WFMY News 2.
In anticipation of snow and potential slick spots, airports are keeping an eye on conditions in case they need to cancel or delay flights. So far, most flights are on schedule out of PTI this morning, with the exception of one, but a different story in Raleigh, where at least 60 flights to and from RDU were canceled as of last night. Most of them to and from places farther north, like D.C. and New York. Charlotte Douglas Airport has 10 cancellations in and out as of this morning.
It's not just travel first responders are preparing for. Recent winter storms have shown us the increased dangers around lakes and ponds. If you recall, 3 people in the Triad died after falling into partially frozen ponds this winter. To prevent similar accidents from happening again, groups like the Madison Rockingham Rescue Squad access points and gates around bodies of water.
When the river accesses are open, I believe that the public takes that in their mind that it's safe to access them and to recreate. So having those gates closed by the police department just helps send the message that, hey, this is not a safe situation.
Officials we spoke with also tell us if you see a car on the side of the road with caution or police tape on it, you don't need to call it in. It's already been dealt with. Reducing call volume on days like today is a big help for first responders.
As far as events in our area, the Tanger Center says the show must go on. The highly anticipated MJ the Musical kicked off in Greensboro last night. The Performing Arts Center says the forecast will not affect shows today or later this week. It's not the same story, however, for the state wrestling championships. Tens of thousands were expected to come to Greensboro for the event starting tomorrow. It will now start on Saturday and get condensed because of the storm.
Right now, our weather team is still monitoring when exactly we will start to see snow. We'll have extended comprehensive coverage on WFY Plus starting at 8 a.m. You can download our free app on your TV and smartphone. It is now 6:08 this morning. The Greensboro City Council is moving forward with several plans. The first one directly targets short-term rentals like Airbnbs and Verbos. Council voted to get rid of a space restriction that required rentals to be at least 750 feet apart. One woman who supported getting rid of the rule called it unfair.
This gives some individuals a financial advantage simply due to geography rather than merit or compliance. In more densely populated urban areas, the rule effectively bans short-term rentals altogether.
Another woman opposed getting rid of the restriction. She worried eliminating it would add to the housing need in our area.
Just last week, the City Council announced the drive for more housing in Greensboro. Well, when you remove the distance regulation, you're taking homes away from permanent residents and from long-term renters, and destroying the community aspect of living in our neighborhood.
Council says no other city in the state has a distance restriction. The rental rules took effect last year. All other rules are still in place.
The Greensboro City Council is planning to make the final call on land in Summerfield, and that decision could come as soon as next month. Leaders will have a public hearing about rezoning property near Hamburg Mill Road for a large development there. This is part of the controversial project called the Villages of Summerfield Farms. State leaders stepped in and ultimately took the land away from Summerfield last year. So now the city of Greensboro has oversight. If this plan is approved, the developer wants to bring hundreds of new housing units. It's part of a broader project to expand housing in Guilford County.
City Council is also working on next steps for two big projects. One of them dealt with a downtown parking garage set to be demolished. Another is a big community center. Council approved nearly $3 million contract to tear down the Belmead Street parking deck, which closed for good over the weekend. Council members voted to close and demolish it because of structural concerns. Leaders decided it was more cost efficient to start from scratch rather than repair it. Council also approved a contract to build the Windsor Chavis Nocho complex. The city approved nearly $50 million for this project. It is important to note voters approved this money back in 2022 as a part of a bond referendum. Right now, it's not clear when the building could be ready to be opened.
Guilford County Schools board members say they're worried this morning about a trend they're seeing with enrollment. They say the district is losing students and expect enrollment to hold steady, but new data shows a drop-off. In total, the district is expected to lose 3,000 students by 2035. That graphic should say 2035. The district cited the expansion of public charter schools as a reason why. The superintendent says leaders will keep working on ways to increase enrollment with a special focus on kindergarten. This as the district tries to keep current students safe. 8 Guilford County elementary schools are getting security upgrades. The Board of Education approved contracts for new vestibules at those entrances. They are an extra layer of locked doors, making schools more secure. Leaders will use money within the Deferred Capital Maintenance Fund. The district says 10 other schools could get the same update and will make that decision later this year.
It is now 6:11. Coming up, uncertainty during tax time. What potential cuts to the IRS could mean for your wallet as you fill out your taxes. That's next.